Functional endurance, the mind in motion. Somewhere above Sibiu, the road curves into the hills of Cisnadioara. The air is so clean, cool, and still carries that smell of wet stone and grass. The hill rises gently toward the old fortified church, built almost 9 centuries ago, still standing as if it's seen everything and yet nothing surprises it anymore. That's where today's training began. Just me, the road, and my dogs who had no interest in sports science, Raja and Ozzy. They only cared about running free. Maybe that's what this whole thing is about. Rediscovering what running free really means. Functional endurance isn't about pace or records. It's about how long your system, your muscles, your lungs, your coordination can sustain efficiency under continuous movement. It's not survival, it's control over fatigue. It's the adaptability to stay precise when everything in you starts to slow down. When we talk about endurance, we usually think about the heart and lungs, aerobic capacity, volume of maximum oxygen, oxygen transport. But functional endurance goes deeper. It's not just cardiovascular, it's neuromuscular, postural, cognitive. It's how your nervous system manages to keep your movement patterns clean when fatigue tries to distort them. As I started the run uphill, I could already feel the body negotiating with gravity. Each step a reminder that endurance isn't infinite. It's trained through repetition, adaptation, and a quiet kind of discipline, the science of functional endurance. The word functional means that every movement we train has a purpose beyond itself. Running, lunging, squatting, pushing. All are designed to reinforce real life mechanics, propulsion, deceleration, balance, and stability. At the neuromuscular level, endurance depends on three things: motor unit recruitment, metabolic efficiency, and movement economy. Motor unit recruitment: how many fibers your nervous system can call upon and in what order. The longer the effort, the slow twitch fibers type 1 dominate. They're oxidative, rich in mitochondria, resistant to fatigue. Metabolic efficiency: how effectively those fibers use oxygen and clear byproducts like hydrogen ions and anorganic phosphate. Movement economy: the refinement of coordination patterns so that every contraction contributes directly to propulsion, not wasted motion. So, when we say functional endurance, we mean the body's ability to sustain coordinated output while maintaining postural control and energy balance. As the slope steepened, I alterned between running and walking lunges. The dogs watched, confused. Human never just run in a straight line. We complicate everything. But that's the point. Functional endurance isn't repetition without thought, it's adaptability, adaptation, and motor learning. Each repetition is data for the nervous system. Each control landing, each stride teaches the brain how to distribute load and how to stabilize the pelvis, how to recruit the right fibers without wasting energy. That's why variety within structure matters. I moved from lunges to squats, then into push ups on the uneven ground. The surface itself became a teacher, forcing micro adjustments in every joint. When you train outside the gym, your stabilizers come alive. Every root, stone, and slope activates proprioceptors sensory receptors in muscles and tendons that tell your brain exactly where your body is in space. That feedback is what builds functional stability. Over time, this rewires your motor cortex. It increases movement precision under variable conditions, one of the core definitions of functional fitness. The role of fatigue. Endurance isn't about avoiding fatigue, it's about negotiating with it. Fatigue changes everything: joint alignment, breathing rhythm, even emotional tone. You start to hear that internal voice asking why you're doing this. But at the physiological level, fatigue is a signal, not a wall. It's the accumulation of metabolites, the depletion of ATP and glycogen, and the reduced efficiency of calcium handling inside the muscle fibers. Training endurance means teaching your system to manage these changes, to buffer acidity through improved mitochondrial density, to delay the point where breaks down. That's why long sessions like this, moderate intensity, sustained movement, constant variation, are so valuable. They teach your nervous system to keep the movement clean when the body gets noisy. Coordination under load. One of the biggest differences between simple endurance and functional endurance is how the nervous system behaves under sustained mechanical stress. For example, during push-ups or squats at minute 20 of a circuit, the stabilizers around your spine and shoulder girdle start to fail before your prime movers. That's when posture collapses and energy leaks appear. To train endurance functionally, you don't just count repetitions, you monitor alignment. The nervous system must preserve the same movement pattern even when the available energy declines. That's the true marker of the adaptation. As I reached the top of the hill, I looked back. Raja and Ozzy were already chasing something invisible. They had unlimited endurance simply because they didn't think about it. Humans, on the other hand, have to train for that state of effortless persistence. Breathing and neural loop. Breath controls rhythm. Every stride, every lunge, every push up follows a respiratory pattern. Functional endurance means syncing your movement cycle with your breathing cycle so the nervous system remains coherent. When breathing is shallow, carbon dioxide accumulates, pH drops, and motor output becomes erratic. Slow, controlled breathing stabilizes the vagal tone, activating the parasympathetic system, keeping your heart rate efficient. That's why endurance training is neurological as much as metabolic. The brainstem, not the biceps, decides when you stop. Posture as performance. Endurance has a posture. Every joint alignment determines how efficiently forces travel through the kinetic chain. When the spine holds neutral under fatigue, the hips and shoulders move within less friction. When posture collapses, oxygen cost rises. In these sessions, posture is an active skill, the invisible exercise inside every exercise. The uphill lunges weren't just leg work, they were alignment drills for the whole kinetic chain: foot, knee, hip, spine, and scapula. Maintaining that integrity minute after minute is the real art of endurance. Energy system in play. During such a session, three energy systems rotate like gears. ATP phosphocreatine system, alactic, short bursts like the first push-off or a steep climb. Anaerobic glycolysis, dominates when intensity rises and oxygen delivery lags, produces lactate but also valuable adaptations in buffering capacity. Aerobic system, the steady state that takes over as duration increases. Functional endurance isn't about isolating one, it's about smooth transitions between them. Efficient athletes switch systems without losing rhythm. Nature as a variable. Training outdoors adds chaos, uneven ground, wind resistance, temperature, all stimuli that challenge homeostasis. But this chaos is what the nervous system craves. It expands its adaptive bandwidth. Every gust of wind triggers micro adjustments in balance. Every stone underfoot forces reflexive co-contraction to the ankles and hips. That's neuromuscular education happening in real time. Inside the gym, we remove noise. Outside, we learn to manage it. Both matter. But endurance built outdoors tends to be more transferable because real life is unstable. The psychology of sustainment. Somewhere around minute 20, when the heart has settled into a steady rhythm and the novelty of the landscape fades, the real endurance test begins, the mental one. Functional endurance requires emotional regulation. You can't sustain precise movement if the mind is scattered. The ability to stay calm under discomfort activates the same neural circuits that control balance and focus. It's no coincidence that elite endurance athletes often have exceptional emotional control. It's trained along it's trained alongside physiology. So while Raja and Ozzy ran in circles, I focused on small details. Breathing through the nose, stabilizing the pelvis, landing softly, keeping the shoulders low. These micro corrections are what extend endurance over time. From mechanics to meaning. There's something ancient about training near a 3rd century church. The structure has survived storms, wars, generations, because it was built with intention and balance. That's exactly what functional endurance training demands: intention and balance. Every repetition is a brick, every controlled breath is mortar. You're building something that will last, not just a physique, but a system that can carry you efficiently through work, age, and fatigue. This kind of training doesn't end when you stop moving. The neural adaptations continue for hours after. Synaptic strengthening, mitochondrial biogenesis, hormonal recalibration. You're literally rewriting how your body handles effort. Closing reflections. As I descended from the hill, the sun had started to fade behind the church walls. The dogs were still restless, energy unspent. I felt that post-session clarity, the quiet satisfaction that comes when movement breathe and focus align. That's the essence of functional endurance. To move long enough and with enough control that your body stops fighting and starts cooperating. Endurance isn't just how long you can go, it's how well you can move when you're tired, how precise you can remain when fatigue erases comfort, how much structure you can keep when chaos returns. That's what makes it functional. So when you train, whether in a gym, a park, or on the slopes of Cisnadioara, remember, endurance isn't built by counting reps or minutes. It's built by teaching your body to stay organized under load, efficient under pressure, calm under effort. Keep the movement clean, keep the breathing steady. Let fatigue become information, not resistance. And if you ever doubt your progress, look at the old church on the hill, still standing after 8 centuries. That's endurance, that's functional, structural, and absolutely human.
tus ojos mi vida pasar y se extraña si los cierro. Y si mañana nos toca no estar, miro al cielo y te veo. Pero ya sé que no voy a olvidar tu perfume de febrero. Cuando la noche me venga a buscar, que me lleve con tu viento. Y si la noche me viene a buscar, que me lleve con tu viento. Vengo a tu lado y mi vida pasa. Ya lo creo, ya lo creo. Y si mañana nos toca no estar, miro al cielo y te veo. Pero ya sé que no voy a olvidar tu perfume de febrero. Cuando la noche me venga a buscar, que me lleve con tu viento. Y si la noche me viene a buscar, que me lleve con tu viento. Y parte de todo es saber olvidar, no recuerdo, yo no puedo. Pienso en tu rostro y no puedo evitar ver mi sueño, ver mi cielo. Pero ya sé que no voy a